everybody. Welcome to session 1 of the customer service series. And today what we're going to be talking about is internal customer service, employee engagement, and why you even need to be watching a webinar series on customer service. So I want to start out by talking about who your customers are. And it's interesting because when we tend to think of customers, we tend to think of the external customers, the people that are coming in and purchasing our services. And I want you to think a little bit about the internal customer. And these are individuals or other departments within your organization. And when you think about it, for example, HR has every department as their internal customer. Probably payroll does as well. That's what I'm talking about. And what research shows is there's a very close and consistent link between how you treat each other and how you treat your external customers. And think about that. You can be arguing with one of your coworkers and it's very hard to turn around, someone walks through the door and you say, "Hello, how are you?" I mean, maybe you can, but that's kind of a psychopath behavior. Most of us, it's really difficult. And you can feel, I think, when you go into an organization and people really get along. I'm so fortunate. I work with a lot of companies that I think I could absolutely work here. They love each other. So let me ask you, are you a team?
I get calls all the time to work in different organizations, and the general consensus from every CEO or HR manager that I talk to is they are a team. They work beautifully together and they're best friends, and oftentimes when I get there, it isn't quite the way they defined it. There is a common objective, but the interpersonal relationships aren't that great. And to me, being a team includes connection, it's listening to each other, it's enjoying each other. To me, a team is one of the best reasons to go to work, that you love the people that you work with.
Let me give you a cool example, and think about this in terms of your organization. So I do local customer service classes, and I invite people from the community on the Central Coast of California to attend. And one of the groups that attended was from Dr. Garrett's dental office. And what I do before people attend my class is I check them out online. And it's fascinating to me because I have to tell you, probably at least 90% of the companies I work with have no pictures of staff. And look at this. And I love it because it says, you know what? Dr. Garrett's great, but you know who else is? Our exceptional and professional staff. And then you can click and find more information about each of them. This is a true team. When I go to a company and I see 3 different pictures of the CEO and none of the staff, I don't feel that it is a team. Let's talk a little bit about building a team and being happy in the workplace, making sure employees are engaged. A lot of you, this is absolutely true, and some of you have jobs that are inherently stressful. Police officers, firefighters, first responders. Stress is inherent in the job, but for most of us, no matter what the job is, there's always periods of time where it's very stressful. My basic motto, work hard, have fun, and no drama, and that tends to equal a happy workplace. So here's some other things to think about. Communication. Staff needs to know what's going on. And some of you work in organizations, for example, in long-term care, where there might be 15, 30, 40 different buildings, and so there's isolation. I worked with a company last week, and they have a main headquarters, and they have 7 outlying offices. And think about it. Maybe you've made a decision that's going to affect everybody, but it's 4:30 on a Friday, so you just tell the people in your building, and you think on Monday I'll tell everyone else. Well, let me tell you, the problem is people are going to talk. And there's going to be hurt feelings and frustration when one group knows before another. And guess what? As adults, if we don't have information, what we do is speculate. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but you know what might be going on. And then I tell 2 people, and they repeat it, not saying this is what Jean thinks, but this is what's happening. So what happens is we start to gossip. I am not suggesting that a manager or CEO needs to tell all employees exactly what's going on. And it is absolutely appropriate to say, we are not ready to share. But don't lie and don't tell only a certain group when everybody deserves to know. Great quote here. Uncertainty feeds anxiety and knowledge calms it. Let people know. If there's a situation and we're not privy to the information, we tend to go to the negative. And my final quote is, a closed mouth gathers no feet. Here's a great way to discuss what's going on in work. Discuss it if you would feel comfortable having your comments read back to you in a court of law. Fun offsites. This is a great way to build a team, to get people together to go out and have fun. One of the companies that I work with, they have an annual, they go to the beach and they have a sandcastle competition. And it is so much fun, and it's a great way just to bond.
I was a wellness coordinator for a very large national corporation, and we wanted to do something together to really promote teamwork. And so what I did is we had a comedy store in our town, a club, and at the time it was $15 and a 2-drink minimum. So I called and I said, what if we buy the entire place out, 275 seats, how much would you charge? And they got back to me, $5 and no drink minimum. So we took a risk and we bought all the tickets. We sold out in 20 minutes, and we went every month after that. People absolutely loved it. So think about what you can do within your organization. Contact a local group. We have so many wonderful things on the Central Coast of California where I live, where we could buy tickets to a theater show, or again to a comedy night or a concert, or even all go to the movies together. That is what makes a team, and that's what brings the people together.
The next one is creating kindness rituals, and I want you to think about this and ask yourself this question. What would it be like at your organization if people were just a little bit kinder to each other? Here's some tips. A hospital that I work with has queen or king for a day, and they have a foot bath, they have a robe that they bought after Halloween sale, a tiara. Hopefully everyone has their own, but just in case, you might want to bring one. Flowers, and everyone addresses the person as queen or king for a day. How fun is that? Simple pleasures file. This is going to be included in your handout. I was doing a training at Citrus College in Los Angeles area, and they do a Secret Santa. And one of the secretaries decided to keep all the pages from the Secret Santa sheet. And she kept them in a file on her desk that anyone could go into. So Secret Santa is when you write down little things that you enjoy, and someone gives them to you anonymously at the holidays. So what Judy did is she took everybody's, put them in a file. So maybe I would see that my friend Mary at work is having a bad day. I go look at her simple pleasures list, and I see that she likes sunflowers or Snicker bars. And what I would do is maybe put a Snicker bar on her desk and say, thinking about you, love, Jean, or maybe I'll just sit it there. I did a training for PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, and one of the managers put together 3 binders filled with hundreds of people's simple pleasures lists. I love it. Another company I work with, they do random fun coffee treats as a way just to build morale and be kind. And the funny thing is, they haven't even figured out who does it. And some days they'll come into work and there'll be something like whipped cream or chocolate or something fun to put in coffee, cinnamon sticks, random acts of kindness. Create kindness rituals. Catch someone doing something nice. I suggest buy a sticky note that you don't normally use in your workplace and write a comment to someone. And to me, good job isn't enough. I think you need to be specific and write, I saw how you handled that customer, great job. Be specific. At your staff meetings, relate stories of random acts of kindness. Encourage your employees to do it. I do this in my personal life all the time, and guess what? It makes me happy. Say hello. This is my thing. If they are in your building or on your campus, say hello. They either work there or they're a customer or they are lost. I was working with a company and I was pretty stunned, I have to tell you, when I said hello to one of the employees and he ignored me. And when I talked to him later, I asked him why he did that, and he goes, I didn't know you. And I said, but I'm in your building. He goes, I don't care. I don't say hello to people I don't know. Wow, that is not a team player. Couple of other things. Say thank you. Even if they do it every day and it's part of their job. I think thank you, like listening, is a lost art. And finally, don't take things personally. Oftentimes, we go into major drama and we find out it has nothing to do with us. And I hope you're sitting down while you're listening to this, but I will tell you, not everything is about you. I know, that's stressful to hear. So this is my new favorite book in the whole wide world, and I absolutely love it. I got it from the library, and I had over 300 sticky notes in it, so I went out and bought it. And it's an amazing, amazing book. And one of the stats I got from it, which was very scary to me, is look, 45% of workers are happy at their jobs. And I don't know if that surprises you or not, but this makes me sad. Are you kidding me? I love every second of what I do. I think I have the best job in the world, and I love when people argue with me and say, no, I have the best job. So look at this and think about it. It makes total sense. If your employees don't love their job, customers aren't going to love your company. It's as simple as that. So let's talk about employee engagement. And as I told you in the intro, if you don't have engaged employees, you can't have engaged customers. So defining engagement, it's deeply committed. Are you on board with the mission and values of your organization? This has a lot to do with asking yourself, why did you get into the field? Emotionally connected to the organization and its goals. It's people who don't just work for a paycheck or for a promotion. They work because they're emotionally connected. Takes personal responsibility. Again, very important. I was doing a training at a hospital and someone had left an empty packet of red vines on the ground. And I went to pick it up and I thought, no, I want to see if someone else picks it up. It was there an entire week. And I asked the staff how many people saw it, and they all did. And when I asked them why they didn't pick it up, what was their response? You probably guessed it. It's not my job. And I don't expect you to go out and get a lawnmower and mow the lawn at your organization, but come on, take some responsibility. Discretionary effort. This is above and beyond. This is seeing the trash on the ground and picking it up. Look at this stat. That's scary. More than half the people say they're disengaged. And look at this. 18% actively disengaged. What they say is when people are actively disengaged, it's like they're sleepwalking at work. They don't care. It's like, I don't want to get out of the truck and move the piece of wood, so I'll just go around it. I mean, this is a perfect picture of people who are disengaged. I found this on the HR website, and I liked it, and it's something important to think about. So when employees are engaged, they are satisfied. When employees are satisfied, they're loyal to the company. They're going to stay longer. They're going to talk about it to their friends. They're going to get more business. They also are more productive. When you love where you work and you believe in the mission, you work harder. When they're more productive, the company makes more money and it drives value. When you have a company that has a lot of value, it drives customer satisfaction. And customer satisfaction drives customer loyalty. And that's what you want. You want people who are going to stay with you for the long haul. For example, when I work with a lot of medical offices, the initial visit, even the initial year, might not be high yield financially. But 10 years, that's high yield. You want to keep long-term customers. So why are we even talking about customer service? As I mentioned in the intro, there's a lot of stats around customer service and why we need to care. One of them is again, more than anything else, I want a positive customer experience, that I will drive further and pay more for better customer service. Look at this stat. Most companies are spending more money on the customer experience. I have never in my life gotten so many either phone calls or emails from a company after I've called into them or bought a product asking for my feedback. I love that. And I hope if you get those questionnaires that you respond even if it was good, because they don't want to just hear the negative. And I respond to them all because I so appreciate them wanting feedback. 55% of people would pay extra to guarantee better service. I would for sure. And I'm not talking about an extra $10,000, but I would definitely pay an extra few dollars. Sometimes I would even pay double to guarantee better service. Half the people just want you to show that you want to improve, such as doing a survey. So something to think about with your company. Some of you have companies that are absolute luxuries. I do need to go to the doctor. I don't need to paint pottery. So think about that, because you are going to have to work harder if you have a luxury item. My friend buys a Lexus, and he says they are amazing. They all know his name. They love him. And he says, not only do I love the car, I love how they treat me. So why customer service? Because you want to stay in business. That's the reality. I'm pretty good. People think that it's funny that I can tell, but I can tell when a new business, I go in, and I don't immediately judge the first time I go in, because if it's a new business, it's going to take some time. But I can tell after a while if they're going to stay in business or not. And look at this stat. Most customers stop doing business with a company after one poor customer service experience, just one. And I do tend to be a little more, I think, open and understand that it might just have been a bad thing, and if it was really good food or I like something about it, I will go back. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of restaurants to choose from. There's a lot of physicians to choose from. There's a lot of hotels. And so a lot of us, most of us, 89%, will go somewhere else. Think about this. If everyone said that they want to make every day the best day, we'd all be less stressed. I work with a company in Seattle called Nikkei Concerns, and their motto is making every day the best day. What a great motto. And isn't it nice to think that if all your coworkers say, today we're going to offer the best customer service, that it's going to be more fun for you. Why customer service? Risk management. Friends don't sue friends. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this book. I absolutely loved it, and I recommend it. And one of the interesting stories it told in there, and I'm going to paraphrase it, it was a study. And what they did is they had people talk to malpractice attorneys. And what malpractice attorneys said is people would come in with their medical file and say, look what happened. And the attorney would look through and say, you have a case. It looks like your primary physician made a mistake. And the potential customers would say, no, I don't want to sue my primary doc. I love him. I want to sue the specialist. And they said, well, the specialist didn't do anything wrong. No, I want to sue the specialist. I did not like him. So think about that. We don't want to sue people we like. Another reason why we need to care about customer service, because of places like Amazon, who tend to be #1 or always in the top 10 of best customer service. They want the best customer experience. And you think, well, guess what? We're nothing like Amazon. You know, we are a restaurant. It doesn't matter. Amazon treats me well, and that's what I get used to. So they are creating an expectation. And what people have started to do is they expect more. Why we need to care? Because 68% of your customers go somewhere else because you didn't care. And guess what? In a positive climate, when the economy is great, 86%. So what they say is about 1 in 4 customers are not happy. The problem is only 1 of those, 25 will tell you, but we will tell others. And think about it. If I'm going out with you to lunch and I say, you know, I just went into the grocery store and they were so nice, well, who cares? That isn't a fun story. But if I say, oh, guess what? You will not believe this. I went into the grocery store, and you tell a really amazingly horrible, bad story, that's awesome. We like to hear those stories, and those are the ones that we repeat. And I have some crazy stories. When I teach my classes, I have them talk about good and bad experiences. And it's like pulling teeth to get good experiences. They want to talk about the horrible experience and badmouth the companies that they don't like. When we have a good experience, stats vary. And I've read so many different studies, so I put the average here. If we have a good experience, we tend to tell 4 to 7 people. But guess what? If we have a bad experience and we're unhappy, up to 35 people. So look at this picture, which makes me laugh, except if I was Norman, I would not think this is funny. And you guys, this is not written in chalk. This is stuck on there. This is going to be on there forever. So they are a billboard, moving billboard advertising not to buy from this company. As I mentioned before, most of us, 60% of us, will drive further and pay more. But interestingly, in a positive economy, we will even drive further. 70% of us will drive further in a positive economy. So what this means is you might think you don't have competition in your town. Hey, there's nothing close. It's going to be 15 minutes till the closest, whatever your business is. Well, guess what? People are willing to drive there. It's interesting. I've worked with hospitals before who say, hey, we're the only game in town, and maybe for an emergency, but you know what? If I have elective surgery, I'm willing to drive an hour and a half to another hospital. So it's really something to think about. And as consumers, you know we do this. So that is a conclusion of the first section. In your handouts, I have a lot of questions that you can talk about amongst yourself or ideally bring up at a staff meeting to go over this information in more depth. See you next time.